Hello and welcome back to Sunrider Liberation Day Return. Okay, I think we're going to try and steal a bloody thing. That holo could contain something vital to restoring the rest of my memories. I've got to get my hands on it. Shields suddenly leant forward and buried his head in her bosom. Alright, Doctor. Thanks for the chat. I feel a lot better now. God, I can't believe I'm actually doing this. Oh, Captain! Claude smiled ear to ear as she took the opening to stroke his hair. Her attention was thoroughly diverted as Shields reached backwards with one hand and swiped the holo off her desk. He hid it behind him as he stood. I should get back to work. I'll see you around. Any time, Captain. Let me open the cover. No need. Looks like you have a lot of work to do in your office. Shields opened the sliding door himself and left Claude in her office, closing the door behind him. As he walked out, he confirmed their operation was a success. He marched out of the sickbay, a mischievous grin plastered all of his face. As he walked to Crew Quarters 8, Shields activated the holo and searched through its contents. Now, let's see what our past doctor has been up to. And his blood went cold when he saw what was inside. From what he could deduce, there were hundreds of messages logged inside the holo, containing Claude's reports on what was occurring aboard the Sunrider, ever since she first came aboard, as well as detailed instructions from the prototypes. And a medical report proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Chigara was indeed a prototype. Suddenly more memories played back in Shields' head. I have come to suspect there is a great deal of information that our chief medical officer is hiding. What do you mean? I believe that Claude was actually the one who has been relaying our movements to the prototypes. Shit! I remember now. Claude's been working for the prototypes all along. He searched through the remaining data inside the holo. Finally, he came upon a file which contained only a cryptic message. The future can only be saved by destroying everything. Well, that sounds ominous. What does it mean? I have to hurry back to the future Claude, confront her about this. And with that, he quickened his pace to Crew Quarters 8. Shields knocked on the ostensibly unoccupied crew quarters while the coast was clear. He tapped the intercom and whispered, "It's me, open up." The door opened and Shields slipped inside. You're back! As you can see, the plan went exactly as planned. He saw Chigara tied up to a chair, still unconscious from sedation. Despite successfully kidnapping Chigara, Shields had no cause to celebrate. Doc, you're going to have to explain yourself. He pulled out the holo. I found this in your old self's office. You've been communicating with the prototypes all this time, haven't you? There's messages on this holo giving away our movements to the enemy. Even a medical report which you wrote, completely invalidating the other report you gave us that Chigara was not a prototype. Oh, it's all true. I was aligned with the prototypes during this time frame. But that was me in the past. Poor Claude's turned a new leaf now. I'm fighting for the good guys. Why were you working for the prototypes during this time period? A simple alignment of interests, that's all. I sought to rally the galaxy around you, just like the prototypes. After the Liberation Day massacre occurred, I realized that our interests had diverged. That's when I left them and took matters into my own hands. The prototypes wanted what? Yes, they sought to make you the leader of humanity, but to control you as a puppet so that they would rule in your stead, but... well, let's just say that plan never quite planned out, due to the division within the prototypes themselves. That's quite a lot to take in. I was fine with helping the prototypes accomplish that, but then the massacre happened. That doesn't get you off the hook yet. I also found this inside the holo. Shields opened the final file and showed it to Claude. The future can only be saved by destroying everything. What does it mean? Looks like you've finally discovered the hard part of this mission. It's pretty complicated to explain, but, well, the skinny of it is basically, if we were to succeed in this mission and thwart the Liberation Day massacre, both the universe, well, the past universe where we came from, will collapse and cease to exist. As it turns out, the space-time continuum is really sensitive to time paradoxes, resolves them quite forcefully. You mean you die anyway if we What the hell's the point of this? Oh, now you're thinking like a human. No, you will simply be wiped from existence. Dying's a natural phenomenon which must inevitably happen to all life forms. This is an entirely different concept from never existing at all. You travelled here from a future in which the Liberation Day massacre occurred in order to prevent it, but if you succeed in your mission, the Kato Shields who travel back in time would cease to exist, as the massacre never takes place. So then, who would be the man who stopped the massacre? A true logical conundrum. In other words, a time paradox. So then, is the future really impossible to change? The future can be changed, That's why I brought you here. At the end of the journey, you must make a choice. Either you stop the Liberation Day massacre from occurring, avert the tragedy which befalls everyone, and destroy this universe and the universe you came from to replace them with a new universe you create with your decision, or you let the massacre occur. Accept the tragedy. Then this universe will remain untouched and connect with your timeline. The universe you know will continue to exist, for the better or the worse. You're telling me that if I go through with this, everyone I know will vanish from the face of the universe, but then a new universe with copies of the same people will be created? That's the gist of it, yes. And that's the reason why I brought you here. The key here is that the law of causality does everything in its power to resolve time paradoxes, and it does that by deleting the universe where paradox occurs, and creating new universes which can then logically continue to exist from that point on. In this case, you and everyone in this universe, as well as everyone in the universe where the massacre occurred, would be wiped from existence, thus eliminating the time paradox. But then, a new universe where the massacre never occurred would be born. Everyone would still exist in that universe, completely oblivious to the fact a massacre even occurred, or that there was a desperate mission to prevent it. Then we can still save everyone by creating a new universe where the massacre isn't prevented, but simply never existed at all. Ah, now you're understanding how all this works, Captain. Basically, in this circumstance, I intentionally sought to create a time paradox in order to manipulate the law of causality into destroying the universe you don't want and into creating the one you do want. Well, it was pretty drastic, but it's not like there's anyone out there who can stop me, so... It's pretty convenient, this little quirk the law of causality has. I've been using it to create and destroy universes for... Oh, I forgot I'm immortal. Who knows how long I've been doing this. Anyways, now that your choices have been laid out in front of you, I wonder what you choose, Kato Shields, hero of the galaxy. That's the entire reason I brought you here. All of this is so I can watch you more. I want to watch you run around, fighting desperately against impossible odds. I want to see the tears in your eyes when you fail, the euphoria coursing through your veins when you're victorious. The bigger the stakes, the more tortured your dilemmas, the mightier your enemies, the more I want to see you fight. Because it brings me so much pleasure seeing you in action. Claude's entire body flushed bright red as she squirmed her legs. Oh, I think I may have come a little. Claude, you bastard! She's toying with me just like always. Come to think of it, was there ever a moment when she wasn't playing me like a fiddle during the whole time I've known her? But yes, as I say, whoever it was who basically described Claude as perverse female Q, you are very accurate. Well done. Because that is really what she feels like at this point. Ah, dear, oh dear, oh dear. I need a stiff drink. Water. The stiffest of all the drinks. Okay. But you know what the bitch of it is? I still trust the crazy broad. I'm not kidding. Yo, she lies, she gives half-truths, she manipulates, and I still trust the crazy wench. Oh, God help me. Good call, Captain. I knew I could count on you. It's not too bad. You have a once-in-a-lifetime chance to change the future. Isn't Claude such a generous god? But before you get excited with the knowledge that you have a deity on your side, you should now understand why I can't use my powers willy-nilly. It'd be a pain if I were to accidentally wipe out a universe or two from existence by causing an unintended time paradox myself. Every use of my power must be carefully planned in advance so that they bring about consequences I want. The results otherwise would not be pretty. So basically I can't count on her to pull me out of the fire using her powers anymore. Alright. Nothing productive is going to come out of fighting amongst each other. Whatever it is we're going to do from now, we have to work together to accomplish it. And as if to make matters worse, Chigara began to stir in her sleep. Shields sharply inhaled in concern. Shit! Doc, how much longer is Chigara going to be sedated for? Still another 4 hours. With a full dosage, Chigara's going to be sound asleep for a full 8. Suddenly Claude froze. Never mind. Doctor, what do you mean, never mind? I forgot that in this timeline I actually gave Chigara a half dose of sleep pills, so she would wake up early enough to consummate her love for her captain the night before the final battle. Shields nearly collapsed at Claude's mistake. What do you mean you forgot? I thought you were supposed to be a god! Well, when you've lived for as long as I have, there's just so much to remember. How could I be expected to recall such a tiny little detail like that? Then how much longer do we actually have until she wakes up? Maybe until... now? As if on cue, Chigara sleepily opened her eyes. Cap? Huh? What's going on, Captain? Why am I tied up to this chair? Chigara's eyes darted around the room while she struggled against the ropes in panic. Shit! Okay, for now I've got to calm Chigara down. Chigara, don't worry, I'm here. I'll protect you. All of a sudden, Shields felt at a loss. His usual collected demeanour fell apart, and random words merely leaked from his mouth as he spoke to her in a daze. Oh, Chigara. He had felt her die in his arms. When her spark left her body, a demon had awakened in him. A demon willing to burn the galaxy in order to avenge her. Despite being a spy, despite betraying him, despite murdering countless Alliance leaders, Shields had loved her with his entire heart. That's exactly how the Shields in this universe feels about her. Chigara, look, calm down and listen to me. Huh? Alright. Sorry about the yawning. It's a side effect of talking constantly. That's what I've noticed. Because as I say, visual novels, I like doing them, but a pure visual novel like this is a massive strain on my voice. Shields knelt down in front of her. Despite waking up tied to a chair, the sight of her lover's face managed to calm her fears. What is it, Captain? I admit, this is a strange way of waking up after a doctor's visit. But you wouldn't do anything bad to Chigara, would you? I trust you. I am about to tell you something important. But no matter what happens, I'll protect you. Because this time I'm going to save everyone, including you, Chigara. Alright. Here I go. The truth is, you're a prototype, Chigara. Uh-huh? Claude's initial report turned out to be incorrect. She did some more tests and found without doubt that you're an artificial clone. No way. Don't worry. I'll still make sure you're not harmed, but you have to stay put for a while until the rest of the prototypes are defeated. You could be mind controlled by their leader at any time. This is for everyone's safety. But this means I won't be able to start a bakery with Kato. I won't be able to have children. No. Chigara's a normal girl. Chigara's a normal girl. Chigara's a normal girl. Chigara. Shields tensed with apprehension. He knew that this would be difficult to explain, but he had to make sure that Chigara understood the situation. Suddenly, Chigara broke out into a scream. Oh, my! She fell unconscious as quickly as she entered her fit of frenzy, and she snapped awake. Except this time she was different. You did well to see through my plot, Shields. He stood in shock. Chigara had just been body-jacked. This was the prototype leader he was talking to. You're... But don't think I don't have a backup plan of my own. All the lights inside the room shut off. Or more accurately, every single light inside the ship deactivated. Shields heard the familiar soft droning of the ship's engines sputter out. With nothing running, the eerie silence fell over the ship, and the sound of a laser cutter and the clatter of plastic hitting the ground as Chigara's chair split in half shattered the silence. I can't see a damn thing! I know! My holo! Shields pulled his holo out and put it on maximum illumination, casting a weak light over the room. Long shadows surrounded him, filling his heart with dread. A handheld laser cutter, the size of a cigarette, continued to burn on the floor until Shields picked it up and shut it off. Did you see which direction she took off? Nobody responded to his question. I looked around and realized that Claude had completely vanished. Did Chigara get her? No way. Not even the prototype leader's powerful enough to take Claude on. She must have vanished of her own will. Damn it, now that she's explained the rules of this game, she expects me to figure out the rest on my own, huh? Which means she's probably still watching me, eagerly awaiting my next plan of action. Shit, I made a mistake. Should have known Chigara could be body-jacked at any time. That's exactly what Lynn told me when we escaped the life pod together. Let's talk about preventing her from entering the mine stream confused me into thinking we'd be safe as long as we got to her before then. No, the reason we had to prevent Chigara from entering the mine stream is to prevent the prototype leader bodojacking her. The leader is dead. Chigara can be body snatched whenever the prototype want the leader's still alive. Now a new, huge problem. The prototype leader laid this trap for us, and we just stepped right into it. Sunrider's main reactor's been remotely shut off. Without it, we won't be able to get an FTL transmission sent to Fontana, or even worse, we're essentially sitting ducks for the loyalist-packed fleet. Unless we can get power restored ASAP, the ship's going to be destroyed. But if I can get to engineering, I might be able to restore the power. It's a long shot, but maybe I can undo whatever the prototype's done to our systems, but... Wait, the Sunrider also has an emergency FTL transmitter. Operates on a separate battery pack. It's all the way on Deck 2, Section 37, but if we get to it, we could get a message sent to Fontana even without power. If we can't restore the ship's power, we're sitting ducks one attacks. But I can't just waltz into engineering and show my face to the entire crew without getting detained by ship security. And if I get captured before relaying the message to Fontana, we'll have no choice but to allow Chigara to enter the mine stream, or we'll all be killed when the prototypes have assumed control of Fontana's fleet. I think I'd damn better send Fontana the warning before revealing myself. I don't have a choice. I better get back to the backup com before going to engineering. Shields ran out of the crew quarters, but came face to face with a squad of Marines. They drew their rifles and held him at gunpoint. I'll be honest, do you know what's the most disappointing thing there? The design of the rifles. You know, they look way too like real guns. I know that's a weird complaint, but I always like my sci-fi guns to look sci-fi. Anyway. Shields squinted, the bright flashlights attached to the Marines' rifles blinding him. Shit! Ship security's finally caught up with me. Shields kept his hands on top of his head as the Marine shoved him to his knees. A wall of well-armed troopers in full body armour stood in front of him. The human wall parted to let a man through, which faced Shields. And it was... well, I'll be damned. Oh, crap. Kato Shields clenched his teeth as he stared down. Kato Shields? You really do look like an identical copy. Just then, Chigara emerged from behind the other Shields, escorted by a pair of crewmen. Oh, Captain, I'm so glad you're here. Just what in the world's going on? I feel like the doctor accidentally prescribed me the wrong medication and I'm hallucinating. Oh, trust me, this is real. Ship security's been compromised by true intruders, and one of them happens to look identical to me. This fella right here. Oh, fuck! My cover's been blown and now Chigara's playing along with my past self-suspicions, and on top of that, does my voice actually sound like that? I sound so lame. I thought my voice was so much deeper. As if I don't have enough problems. I don't know what he sought to gain by kidnapping you, but I intend to find out. Yes? You're making a mistake. That girl is not who you think she is. She's being mind-controlled right now. Shields lost his words when another face emerged from the wall of Marines. We have secured the room, Captain. However, still no trace of the other imposter. She may have managed to escape using the ground access hatch. What the... Ava? What's she doing? Wasn't she supposed to be helping me? Was she the one who set me up? Shields' head spun as the woman he had put his trust in apparently backstabbed him without a second thought. She's maintaining her cover, moron. Take him away, boys. We can find out what he's after once he's secured in the brig. Resume the search for the other imposter and keep the ship on high alert until she has been found. Understood, sir. As the Marines pushed Shields towards the brig, he tried to face Ava. Ava? Did she betray me? Was Claude right? Was she seriously so devoted to the rules that she assumed all this time I couldn't be the real Kato Shields? Or is she seriously so devoted to protocol she's just blindly obeying everything the other Kato Shields is saying? No, wait. She said she was pursuing a lead. Could that mean she's found something and all of this is part of her plan to stop Chigara? But if I'm wrong about that, if I end up locked in the brig for the remainder of the battle, what do I do? I trust Ava. I always have. Shields decided to play along for now. Just one more thing. Ava, check the holo inside the room. One of the Marines pounded Shields' gut with the butt of his rifle. Shut up! Ow! He felt two strong hands grip his shoulders and drag him to the brig. 47 hours. 11 until Chigara enters the mine stream. We're running out of time. Shields faced his doppelganger as he was interrogated at gunpoint. Listen to me, you dumb oaf! I am you! I'm from the future. I've come to warn you of a massacre which will happen. He'd repeated his desperate warnings to his past self for the better part of the past 2 hours, but it was clear he wasn't getting through. Chigara is a prototype! If she enters the mind stream a few hours from now, she'll be mind-controlled by the leader of the prototypes and carry out... The other shields cut him off, his voice cracking with impatience. Alright, enough about Chigara. I want to know how you got on board this ship and who you're actually working for. How did you shut off the ship's reactor? Is sabotage your mission? Or have you merely come here to spread subterfuge like Lynn? I am telling you, I had nothing to do with the ship's reactor shutting off. That was Chigara's doing, or rather she was bodyjacked by the prototype's leader, thanks to her being a prototype herself. Look, you've got to detain her right now. She is not the Chigara you know anymore. She is being mind-controlled. You're a prototype, aren't you? You guys started generating clones of me too now? Look, it was pretty weird when we discovered you prototypes were making artificial clones of Chigara, but me too? Is that just what you guys making clones on board this ship? What were you trying to gain by trying to recruit Ava into your mission? And for what purpose did you kidnap Chigara? Ah, it's hopeless. There's no way in hell I'm going to convince this blockhead that Chigara's going to cause the Liberation Day massacre. Not at this rate. The other shield sighed in exasperation on the other side of the glass. Honestly, Shields was inclined to do the same. He was once agonizingly stubborn an individual to argue with. All of a sudden he felt compelled to apologize for Ava for his own personality once this was over. He'd never known how stubborn he was until now. Doesn't look like this is going anywhere. Maybe a little time alone will make you more willing to cooperate. Lock him up. Two Marines grabbed Shields by the shoulders and shoved him into a cell. Shit! The gate shut. A solid layer of reinforced neoglass separated Shields from the outside world, making it impossible to hear anything outside of his little fish tank. The other shields turned and spoke with Ava. If only I could hear what they were saying. Wait, I remember reading a maintenance request form about this holding cell. Something about the cell door failing to seal completely. Maybe I'm lucky it hasn't been fixed yet. Shields pretended to crumble to the floor in defeat and put his ear up against the crack where the gate came down on the floor. And sure enough, he could now faintly hear the other shields and Ava's exchange. You know, if your security is so lax that you put the suspected saboteur in the one cell that's broken, I appreciate it's not broken completely, but, you know, you guys kinda suck. Captain, perhaps we should consider the prisoner's warning seriously. Given the gravity of what he is alleging, if it turns out he's telling the truth, our victory at Sarah will be meaningless if the top Alliance leadership is assassinated, and a far greater conflict between the Alliance and Pact ignites. Further, the hollow we found within the room directly refutes our doctor's prior finding that Chigara is a human, and throws a grave shadow on all of the doctor's actions for the entire duration of this voyage. In fact, I believe our next move should detain both the chief engineer and our acting medical officer under suspicion of espionage. No. First off, he's not Kato Shields. Ava, you're still going on about that. How many times do I have to tell you? The prototypes just want to show dissension within our ranks. This imposter's probably just their latest attempt at the same strategy. In fact, everything here falls under the same pattern of them trying to get us to turn on each other. We're one family on board the ship. It's that bond which makes us strong. The prototypes are trying to undermine it. No, you idiot! It's you who's so fixated on your goddamn family you can't see what's obvious to everyone else. Shields nearly banged his head on the cell door in frustration at hearing himself talk. Someone, please give this man a good whomp to the head. But Captain! That's enough, Commander. Ugh! Continue to interrogate the prisoner. Find out what the prototypes are after. That's an order. Understood, sir. With that, the other shields left the brig. Ava merely sighed as if she knew this outcome was inevitable. Ava merely sighed as if she knew this outcome was inevitable, but was disappointed that it had come to pass anyways. Ava looked around to check if the coast was clear, then approached the holding tank. She merely held out her outstretched palm and put it against the glass. Ava? Of course. She's sending me a message not to worry. She's already come up with a plan to stop Chigara, and getting me captured was just part of that plan. Shields outstretched his hand and put his palm up against hers. It was their oath. They would work together until the very end to avert the tragic future. The faintest trace of a smile appeared on Ava's face before she withdrew her hand. With a nod she faced him one last time, before leaving the brig. Now, let's see what Ava has planned. A short time later, he heard someone knock on the holding tank. Shields looked up to see Ava on the opposite side of the glass. She pressed the button to open the cell door. Ava! She immediately handed him a new set of captain's uniforms. "Come on, I'm getting you out of here. I managed to get my hands on a new set of authorization codes to go along with that uniform. You'll be able to access the same parts of the ship as before with that. But it won't be long until security comes back. Escape through the emergency maintenance shaft, then meet me outside Life Pod 15, where there are no cameras. Do you understand?" "Yeah." Ava spun round and left the brig as quickly as she had appeared. And with that, Shields quickly put on his uniform and escaped to the maintenance shaft as ordered. He entered Life Pod 15, as told by Ava, and found her waiting inside. She stood and faced him. "What happened? Did the other Shields catch on to me?" Ava let out a long sigh. "No. I'm afraid your capture was my doing." "What? Why'd you do that?" "Following what you've told me about the Chief, I decided to do some research on the modifications she made to our ship. During the investigation, I discovered the logic bomb she left for us if her true identity was found out. I rushed to prevent your mission to kidnap the Chief as soon as I realized what was going on, but it appears I arrived too late. Now the ship has been completely disabled and the Chief is once again at large. I thought to lure the Chief into a false sense of security by having it appear as if you were detained by the ship's security before she could trigger the logic bomb, and then to let you out and foil her plans, but it appears that plan failed." Shields rubbed his temple in frustration. "Ugh! Sorry. Looks like I bungled everything up. I shouldn't have acted until I rendezvoused with you. No use regretting what has already happened. Honestly, I'm disappointed with myself. Lately it feels like I've been failing as ship's captain." In contrast to her usual angry demeanour, Ava smiled gently. "Please, do not carry all the burden by yourself. Remember that I am by your side as well. Yeah. Thank you for having my back all the time." "Understood." "I guess you're not the ship's captain anymore. Then, you're welcome, Shields." A wild adventure to save the day once more, just like old times. In any matter, the situation is as follows. We must still detain the Chief Engineer and warn Fontana so that we may survive the battle without her assistance. Further, now that ship security is on high alert, we know that the Chief can remotely shut down the ship's reactor. We must avoid detection. The biggest question is how we will capture Chigara without also shutting the ship down. The best solution would be to invalidate the Chief's command ID. However, the only person capable of doing that is the ship's captain. And unfortunately, the new uniform I procured for you does not have sufficient security clearance to lock the Chief out of the system. So in other words, the only person who can detain Chigara without the ship shutting down is the other Kato Shields. Correct. But he's convinced that Chigara's on his side. Shields racked his brain for ideas. Okay, first things first, we have to warn Fontana about the virus before putting Chigara out of commission. Now that we've lost all power, the backup comms are our only option. Not only that, but we have to get to engineering, somehow get our reactor back online. Then it appears that sending the transmission and restoring the power are our two immediate priorities. We'll take a trip together to Section 37 and use the backup comm to relay the message to Fontana. After that, we can go to engineering and try to restore the reactor. Alright, it sounds like a plan. We can figure out a way to stop Chigara after we've sent the message out and restored power. T-minus 50 hours until the Liberation Day massacre, and 14 until she enters the Mindstream. You know what, I think that's an excellent point to end this part. So, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next.